for a special episode of World of Ability. We are joined today by Kurt Roskopf from the Ability Channel, Emily Gulmer, Zita, and Pete. And I'm going to pass it right on over to Kurt to get us started, and we'll have Emily introduce our guests. We'd also like to give special thanks to Jaws Coffee Chat for allowing us this time slot. And special thanks to Lawrence Wingate from Wingate TV, Marcus Hart from Transform U Media, Zach Clayton of PAC Channel, and Jay Stoven of the Ability Channel or Disability Channel for replaying our shows on their platforms. All right, I'm going to pass it over to you, Kurt. Take it away.
All right, sounds good, EJ. Thank you very much. So yeah, this is a unique opportunity. This is just a little story of once in a while, things just happen that are meant to happen. So yes, I am Kurt Roskopf, and I want to jump in here as ambassador of the Happy Neighborhood Project, because this episode would not be possible without the work of Edwin Edeberry and our Chief Happiness Officer at the Happy Neighborhood Project, and all of his work that the story told stems from 2009 and all of the recognitions from the United Nations and spreading happiness around the world and doing work in this zip code that many need to learn about yet, zip code HAPPY, which means the whole world. And so this is a result of happy business networking and coming together, forming friendships through the happiest place in the world for business people. You know, so we've got a few business people here today that jumped into Zoom meetings and went into breakout rooms, introducing, taking a look at things on LinkedIn, and everything just started budding and blooming and blossoming. And then this magic happens. And so things like this exclusive episode come from these investments in building relationships. And the idea of it takes this time to know, like, and trust each other. So we're a small little tribe here of friends that have come to trust each other. We celebrate each other's work. And now we're here to do what a lot of people say is about bringing out the best in people and helping people be at the best versions of themselves. So there's a lot of self-efficacy here. A lot of our friends are about dream building. And so this is a really great opportunity. We do a lot of shows throughout the week, but there's going to be something that this is going to be a signature moment. We're a small group here. We're looking at each other. We don't even know what we're going to say in the next 20 minutes, but it's going to happen. There's going to be some spontaneity here, a little improv, and we're going to make it this way, that we were meant to be here right at this moment. And we believe you were meant to be here right at this moment. So we want to give a good recognition out to our audience from the Jaws Coffee Chat series. And we want to acknowledge the great work of our friend Jennifer A. Whitaker, where her initials are JAW, Jaw. And so we have a little mantra that we're here just jawing along. So here I am, Kurt Roskopf, jawing along. And so we're going to dive into this conversation. And we have Emily, our podcast engineer, our virtual assistant, and another HMP ambassador. She's going to do the introductions of our special guests here, where in our conversation they'll be.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So both of our guests today, we went through the Happy Neighborhood Project. And our first guest, Peter James, aka Parachute Pete, and Zita from Zita's Healthy Beginnings. Zita, we help with her podcast of WoA, World of Women. And Peter James is with final expense planning. So Parachute Pete, why don't you come in here and briefly introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and
Well, good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks for having me. Kurt, good to see you again. And Zita for the first time. Of course, EJ, who I've known through the HMP. And of course, Emily, who's the mayor for Wisconsin and all of Wisconsin. Good to see you guys. But It's great being here Monday morning, the 8th of May. And I'd love to, I hope you guys can hear me clearly because sometimes my sound will go, but let me know if you're not hearing me clearly. But my name is Peter James, and I am the Chief Empowerment Officer for Affordable Senior Solutions. And we got to ask, what do we do? Provide peace.
Your audio is dropping out.
So what we're going to do, Pete, is we're going to take that as the little tease to the rest of what you're going to do in this episode. If you want to figure out what's going on with your sound there, we're going to bring in Zita. The story with Zita is a very interesting one. If we go back a year and a half, we were explaining to Zita that, Emily and I, we do this type of thing. We use Zoom and we use StreamYard and Restream, and, we do live streaming and Facebook Live, YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live. And I was like, Zita, with the work you do, as a midwife and a doula, and, it's interesting, the recent days, it was like National Nursing Day or something, and you had your commencement on this past Saturday, and there actually was last week, there was a day celebrating midwives. So we thought of you last week during our Shakedown episode. Our friend Mark, I call it the On Your Mark program. He tells us, what's the national holiday of the world advocacy, and, kind of what's the thing coming into that day with these calendars, where you got to celebrate something every day. So Zita, do you want to share a little bit of your background, but then also take it as a way to lead into, we're working on an event. It's going to be October 12th through the 14th. It's been a sparking and budding accomplishment. There's graphics going out over the place, but first give us a little bit of your background and then share a little bit of your role in this event, and then we'll bring it back to Peter. Zita, yeah, now we need to ask you to unmute. There you go.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Hi again, everyone, and welcome. I am so excited to be here. My name, as you know, is Zita. I am a sister and a nurse and a midwife. And I have been in the United States right now as a resident for the past 20 years, and I've worked as a nurse and a midwife in different settings. And right now I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. During the course of my practice, I found out that there's a lot of maternal and infant mortality rate here in the United States. It's also all over the world, but knowing United States as the #1 country in the world, I was so appalled to really notice that maternal and infant mortality is really higher here than in most countries. In fact, we have noticed that the United States ranks highest, let me put it that way, maternal and infant mortality in the developed countries of the world. And so I asked myself, what does that mean? And why is that happening? And this is actually very prominent in people of color. And for me, from my experience and background, birthing is a joyful thing. It's not a death sentence, but that's what is going on right now. And I decided in 2016 to find this organization that is nonprofit, Zita's Healthy Beginnings. And what we focus on is to reduce maternal and infant mortality rate here in the United States and in Nigeria, where also we have that high record, and elsewhere in the world, but this is where we're starting right now. And how we do that is through education, advocacy, training of doulas and community healthcare workers. We're also planning to have a center that we can actually provide training and also conduct delivery for women here in the United States and also in Nigeria. So that's work in process. And in order to actually make this whole goal global, through the help of Kat and Emily, I am doing a podcast. It's World of Women podcast, WoW podcast. It's every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And all we talk about is everything that could really propagate the information we are sharing with people about the role of women globally, about what is going on, raising this awareness of unnecessary mortality in women and children, especially here in the United States. So we believe that if we're able to achieve this here, it will be easier for us to do it around the world. So we invite everybody and anybody that has special interest in family, women and children, with any kind of advice, word of encouragement, specialty, to please join us. At that time, sign up on our website, be our guest speaker, be part of us. It's a live podcast, and we invite everybody to be part of it. So, and in addition, Zita's Healthy Beginnings is also helping women practice organic farming. We have Community Hope Farm right now in Nigeria as part of what we're doing to support women to plant healthy crops, planting bananas, fruits, and vegetables. And we have been very lucky to have donors who have helped us to start that off the ground, and it's growing. So finally, the last thing that is also that same line that I'm still getting extended to really help is being the coordinator, the US coordinator for this wonderful Afro International Film Festival coming up in October, as Kat has already alluded. And we are inviting everyone, let's just use this opportunity to help people to come and see who Africans are, what Africans can produce, listen to Africans share their stories from Africa by Africans themselves. And we're going to do this collectively. We beckon on our friends and our families to help us to share this whole information, to put it out there, so we can have a wonderful turnover, attendance on 12th to 14th of October. So in a nutshell, that's what I do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zita. So Zita, I can tell you, looking at Peter's expressions, he was celebrating as you were talking, as he was listening. He was loving what he was hearing. We could tell by his body language. So we're on to a good thing here, folks. And you know what? This is like an alpha and omega episode, because we have Zita's Healthy Beginnings, and then we have Parachute P talking about being the first choice for final expense planning, and then peace of mind for seniors and their loved ones, which could be a newborn baby. So, Peter, come on in here. This is a unique opportunity for you. We've known each other for a couple of years, but you haven't had an opportunity like this. It's time to shine. So let's see if we can get you unmuted, and let's see what you have to say now. Take it away, Pete.
You guys hear me much better now.
Yep, we hear you.
Yes. I switched to my my handset because my computer's acting up. But just to pick up where I left off, thanks, Zita. That was a good foray into what you do. And I'm Peter James. I'm what we call the Chief Encouragement Officer for Affordable Senior Solutions. And what we do here, we help to provide peace of mind to clients anywhere between 40 up to 85 by helping them to put aside funding. So when that comes, not their loved ones. Now, I noticed I said their loved ones because we don't need it. Basically, our loved ones are gone. So the question is, would you rather leave a legacy or would you rather leave a burden? If you're trying to leave a legacy, that's where we come in. Affordable Senior Solutions will come alongside you in a very creative way and help you to put aside, something that's affordable to take care of that time, either cremation or regular burial. How we do it is through inviting people to have conversations, just like we're doing now. And I must make a point here, I work among the underserved community, meaning that people with underlying issues, preconditions, as you say, diabetes, PTSD, schizophrenia, bipolar, just to name a few, cancer, heart attack. I'm a heart attack survivor. 13 years ago, I experienced a heart attack, and thank God I'm still here. I'm diabetic. I got one adrenal gland. I have a metabolic issue called syndrome. Currently, one of my eyes, I'm doing surgery next week on the second one. I have cataract surgery. So because of that, I do a deeper dive to help people who are underserved, people with disabilities, folks with, as I said, preconditions. So we avail ourselves by writing anywhere between 2,500 to say 50,000 simplified issue life insurance policies called final expense policies. Take care of everything relating to funeral. Formerly, I'm a native of Jamaica, but I'm a Jamaican by birth, American by choice. And I worked with all different groups of folks. As I said, the age range is between 40 up to 85. And I'm available to help. They call me Parachute Pete because I create a soft landing for most folks. Wherever they are, I go. I'm licensed in Wisconsin and Minnesota, Nebraska. I have been up to Alaska to help folks, down to Texas, Florida, you name it. So wherever you are, I'd love to be able to share with you. My website is Affordable Senior Solutions, LLC.com. And if I need to, I can put information in the chat. But if somebody needs or knows somebody who needs to have a free consultation, I don't charge for that. I can share with you what your options are, because everybody's different. Do you agree with that? No two people are alike. So, I'm here again. Any other questions, Kirk, for me to tie up? Is there anything I want
to? Excellent. Good stuff, Pete. It's great to have a service like that. It's a part of life that people tend to put off. So I know it's a lot of diligent work to really make sure we're helping people and helping them not, miss the importance and, have that unexpected, death. And then all of a sudden everybody's in that situation without the planning. So yeah, definitely, there's an expression of, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, so there's a lot to be said to encourage people to make final expense plans. So Emily, you want to come in here? We've got a special exclusive episode that you help put together. This is all part of your work and mantra as a podcast engineer. We've got EJ here, who you're part of sharing and showing the ropes in terms of how we've been doing this for a couple of years with our network, and with someone who had introduced us together with the work that she had done. Emily, what do you have to say with being with our friends Zita and Peter? What's on your mind? What should we go into next?
Well, I think you kind of mentioned something. Have alluded to it, Kurt, right before Pete started talking about that this is awesome, because we have Zeta one end with women and babies and kind of the beginning of life, and then we have Parachute Pete on the other end for the end of life. So we're spanning the whole whole human life here of someone's life. So I think this was this is a first and very special episode, but I don't think has ever really happened before. So I'm happy this is happening.
Yeah, we got to be careful though. We don't want to be all about that Zita's on the front end and Peter's on the tail end. You know, I don't think that's what we're trying to
Well, in general, I'm not saying, just kind of with, I wasn't totally saying, I don't know. I wasn't totally beating that cart, but just sort of with what they're, but I must say
So
that
we've
they're
got Zeta at the beginning,
or at
Rita at
the
the
end,
end,
just-
and the rest of us all in the middle.
This is all impromptu. That I never knew Zeta was going to be on. As a matter of fact, Zeta tell you that she wasn't, you know, she was going to be on for tomorrow, and here she is. And it turns out to be a very dynamic combination because, as Emily said, this is true. You know, I never thought of it. Funny, we can laugh about it, but you have the front end being the birth, and then you have the tail end, I should say. And EJ said everything in between, but it, you know, it worked together in ways that we probably can't even figure because we couldn't have planned this the way we came out and stuff. So it's exciting to be a part of it and to share with everybody how dynamic. So it's just a matter of us educating ourselves on what Zeta was talking about, and to some extent get it in place before you get to my piece of it, which is the most exciting piece after what Zeta does.
So Zita, with the work that you're trying to do, you know, we say healthy babies, healthy mothers. You know, can you comment a little bit in terms of, you know, in terms of midwives and doulas and, you know, birthing and maternity hospitals and stuff like that? You know, what is kind of the realm of concern for the mother in terms of having a healthy delivery and, you know, not, you know, because I guess what I'm saying is sometimes on television or movies or films, sometimes the mother passes away, you know, giving birth to a child. Have you run into that, or is that not really in the scope of your life experience where the mother passes away from birth?
No, it's a painful experience. You don't want to witness that. I have witnessed that a few times. And it wasn't, like I said, you don't want to see that happen because it's not meant to be that way. You know, like I said, birthing is an exciting experience. Should be an exciting experience, but then when it turns the other way, it's no longer it doesn't fulfill its purpose. So, but then how we try to prevent that from happening is, as a young woman, everybody knows that women give birth. I mean, when that time comes, unfortunately, some still get early pregnancy. So the responsibility falls on family to ensure that as you're raising your kid, that you are pretty much aware of what the responsibilities are. A woman is supposed to be nurtured in such a manner that physically and mentally she's well equipped, you know, to be a mother. And how do we do that? Through nourishment, through love, through caring, through mentally nurturing her and providing her with everything she needs, a good relationship, family, friends, community, so that when this woman is ready to give birth, that she understands what she's getting into, that she being supported by the right people, doulas, for example. A lot of pregnant women take, doulas for granted, yet they play a critical role when women get pregnant, particularly first-time mothers. They try to educate them how to do self-care, reminding them that you're going to be taking care of this baby, you and the baby, one baby or sometimes two or more for 9 months or even beyond 9 months. So what does that mean for you and for the baby? So there's a program, a prenatal program that we have out there that helps the mother to take care of herself, to be create that self-awareness of knowing what changes that happens in the first trimester, the first 3 months, the second 3 months, and then the last 3 months before the baby comes. So what are the changes? What are the discomforts? It is not pain. It is not a disease. Pregnancy is a process. It is a process that a woman goes through before she brings new life into the world. It is not something that you would say, oh my goodness, this is really, I'm terrified to do this. If there is normal and regular protocols put in place. But what we're seeing these days is that young girls are not even educated at all on self-care, what their body looks like, what the body needs. And before you know it, they're pregnant. Some don't even understand what that means. Therefore, they don't really take the necessary precautions and nobody to support them. No one acknowledges who they are. We act like we don't even know what's going on, only to find ourselves dealing with kids that are like acting crazy, or we label as acting crazy, when in fact, we were the ones that failed in our own responsibilities to help these kids become responsible citizens. And we also have failed in helping the young woman grow up, recognizing who she is and the potential she carries for all of us. So we start pointing accusing fingers on individuals or even communities and not realizing where we have failed them. And even as a government, we don't even recognize the critical need that women and children should be provided for, so that they can help us build our nation. It becomes more economical when you're teaching and you're training and you're supporting a woman, so she goes through this whole transition in a very healthy manner. And then when we get to this parachute pit stuff, it won't be that much critical. We won't be spending a whole lot because we can't even afford it in the first place. A lot of us don't have what Peter is talking about. Why? Because of all I've just mentioned. We have failed from the foundation. So how do we pick ourselves up and go back to our families and to community and say, let's just sit down. Let's just review this for the good of everybody. And that's what Zita's Healthy Beginning is doing. We talk with families, we do home visiting, we sit down and talk about issues that really pertain to our health presently and in the future. So that's what we do in a nutshell, but we do more than that. But we also know that we cannot do this without the support of everybody, without people being aware of what we're doing that is for everybody, not just for us. And I know it becomes an uphill task when it gets complicated. We all know that. When you lose a mother in the family, it is the whole nation that is suffering, believe it or not. And people don't understand that. So we're trying in our own level to educate people, because for me, this is education. You know, there are a lot of things we all take for granted, but when it comes down to it, we know that we have missed some important stages that has that effect that we might regret, that might be too late. So let's just start now to pay attention to our sisters and brothers, nieces and nephews, daughters, and see how we can help them. And I know some places cannot even afford, or don't have doulas. They don't have midwives. Healthcare system is not really accessible to them. And that's another issue we have to focus on. So yeah, that's what we do.
Very good. Thanks for doing what you do, Zita. So, Peter, we're gonna bring you in here for some final words. Zita really did us a favor here talking about the family dynamic. You got on your peace of mind for your seniors and their loved ones. So there's a little intergenerational dynamic here, a family situation. Kind of maybe make a comment to that, and then give some final words, because we're at the conclusion of this show. We're at the tail end. Take it away, Pete.
Or just wanted to say, to underscore what Zita is saying, the healthy family builds the healthy community, which in extension builds the healthy nation. And we can't get around it. The health of the nation rests on women, for the most part. They're the ones who bring life, So with that said, in terms of my final words, about a year and a half ago, there was a concert in Houston, Texas, and there was so much crowd that there was a stampede, and 8 people lost their lives in the stampede. The gentleman's name, I think, was Travis Scott. He was an artist. I don't know him, but my daughter's heard of him, multimillionaire rapper. And they were trying to figure out what to do and who to pass the blame to and who would be in charge of this. But 8 people lost their lives. So between the time they came to a decision, or the guy said, okay, I'm going to, as a conciliatory gesture, I'm going to pay for the funerals of those 8 people. But between the time that it happened and the time that he made the suggestion or the conciliation, GoFundMe's have gone up. So what that tells me is that a lot of folks are not prepared, because somebody said that as sure as you're born, you're going to die. So the question is, in the interim, do you make preparation? Because none of us know when we're going to go. So my saying is, it's best to have it and not need it than the converse, than to need it and not have it. Procrastination is a thief of time. The biggest mistake we tell ourselves is that I have time. And today is the tomorrow you thought about yesterday. So with that said, just to tie it all together, final expense is like a parachute that you see over here. If you don't have it when you need it, then you don't need it anymore. So my job is to help folks, especially to protect families from what happens naturally by having a little preparation in place, because something is better than nothing. And that's my take on it.
There we go. Excellent stuff, Pete. Wow. This was quite a power session here, and just critical, crucial stuff, things we can't get around, and very very telling in the human experience. It's a chance all of us humans have a chance to decide how we're going to navigate all these things. So it's great having professionals like Peter and Zita doing the work they're doing, because we definitely do need help in these areas. And this is all can be the riveting parts of as we tell our stories, autobiographies, biographies. The realm of what Peter and Zita do, are right in the crux of it all. So thank you to both of you for being here, and for everything you do when you're not here, and serving people. So Emily, that's a wrap. I'm looking for you. If you can package this up, wrap it up, put a bow on it, and get us on out of here. That does it for this exclusive episode. Emily, you actually get the last word.
And it would help if I was not on mute. I want to thank you, everybody, for coming on here. And to encourage everybody to check out all of our social media. And thanks again to Marcus, Jay, Zach, Lawrence, for replaying this on our platforms. If anybody has any questions, comments, and so on, they can contact me at podcastengineer54@gmail.com or Kurt at abilitymke@gmail.com or 262-372-1754. So we are here every Saturday, or never mind. Okay, well, we have other shows that everybody is welcome to join us on. So let us know if you are interested. So until next time, wish everybody a safe and productive week and to stay happy.
Thank you.